Hello everybody, my name is Detox and I've played Star Citizen for many years now, and if there's one thing I cannot play without, it's head tracking. In this video I'm going to show you why. I'm also going to introduce you to the head tracker that I use, the Tobii Eye Tracker 5, as well as later on a step-by-step guide on how to get yours set up perfectly, which you can skip to right now using the chapters below, so you can do awesome stuff like this. You can use it for gaze-based target locking, using your eyes, head, or both. You can use it for gaze-based missile locking, using your eyes, head, or both. You can also use it to control ship gimbals, and you can use it to control your head in FPS mode for free look, so you can literally keep your head on a swivel. Or you can use it to place bombing run markers, so you can deliver WMDs without breaking a sweat. Of course, you can also use it for what I feel is superior in-game head tracking, since it can make use of both your eyes and head, just like you do in real life. And honorable mention, third-person camera control, which is particularly useful for me in my content, so I can get the occasional sweet shot like this. For me, head tracking is the ultimate addition to any setup for anybody who's looking for some extra immersion, or most importantly, when it comes to Star Citizen, situational awareness. Petard's back, Mark II. Petard's on you, Raber? Coming in? If by the end of the video you're thinking about getting your own Tobii Eye Tracker 5, please do consider using my referral link down below. It really helps support me and the channel, and you'll also get a promotional discount ranging from 5 to 15% off. I've used head tracking ever since I was made aware of its existence and its application in Star Citizen for many years now. In 2021, I moved over to the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and I've been using it happily ever since. So when Tobii reached out to me to sponsor this video, I was happy to oblige. I'd been meaning to make a video like this for a long time, as I always get asked questions about my head tracking and the settings I use. So why do I use the Tobii Eye Tracker 5? Well, it's the only device that makes use of your head and eye movements, unlocking the ability for you to use it for much more than just head tracking. So how does it work? The eye tracker sends out near-infrared light to your eyes, and this light is reflected off your eyeballs. Those reflections are picked up by the eye tracker's cameras, and through filtering and calculations, the eye tracker knows where you are looking. This is unaffected by glasses, and as a glasses user in the past, I never had any problems. With the eye tracker clip mounted to your flat or curved monitor via its adhesive layers and the eye tracker itself attached to the magnet on the front of the clip, it's time to get set up. Step 1. Download and install. To get started, go to the Tobii website and grab the latest drivers and utilities. Make sure to download the Tobii Experience driver specifically for the Eye Tracker 5. If you want to display your eye tracking on screen or during streams, you'll also need the Tobii Ghost, which I'll be using throughout this guide to show you where I'm looking. For games beyond Star Citizen, consider installing the Tobii Game Hub, although it's not essential for SC as all the settings for Tobii are integrated into the game, including the new camera boost feature, which we'll get to later. Step 2. Set up your display. Launch the Tobii Experience app and make sure it's active in the bottom right corner. Hit Setup Display, position your Tobii device below your monitor, and align the on-screen arrows with the physical notches on the device. Adjust the on-screen markers until they perfectly match the position of your Tobii device. Step 3. Calibrate your tracker. In Tobii Experience, click on Improve Calibration to start the setup. You'll see your eyes represented on the screen. Stare at the dots on screen with your gaze until they explode as Tobii calibrates. Step 4. Configure Star Citizen settings. With the painless setup over, let's dive into Star Citizen to fine-tune our settings. First of all, navigate to Keybinds and scroll down to VoIP, FOIP, and head tracking. You'll want to set these key bindings initially. Enable head tracking toggle. As a joystick user, for me, this is set to the brake lever on my Virtual joystick. Head tracking hold. Set this to a key for temporary head tracking activation while holding down the button. Recenter head tracking device. Choose a key to manually recenter your view. I tend to simply toggle head tracking on and off when I want to recenter the device, leaving this key unbound, but you may want to bind it for something in the future. This is a toggle I've used a ton since I've had the eye tracker to grab epic shots like this. With a touch of shaky cam via the head and eye tracking mixed in with the cinematic controls, I can get some really cool shots. Step 5. Activate head tracking in Star Citizen. Go to Comms, VoIP and head tracking settings and select Tobii from the head tracking general source dropdown. Now, let's adjust a few critical options. General toggle. This allows you to enable or disable head tracking on the fly in conjunction with the keybind we just set up. Use position offsets in Cockpits. This enables your head and eye movements to be reflected by your avatar inside your ship's cockpit space. Pretty damn cool, eh? Auto Recalibrate. This automatically adjusts your head and eye tracking calibration when switching gameplay states. For example, moving from an FPS state to piloting a ship. Keep your head central and steady during the transition to ensure accurate centering of your head and eye tracking during your new state. Don't worry if you don't, simply enabling and re-enabling head tracking at any point with your head and eyes centered during your new state will calibrate it again. Step 6. Fine-tune your head tracking settings. Options to disable head tracking during specific activities like FPS, aiming down sights, mobi-glass interactions, and external view. Enable roll-in seats/FPS. This allows the head tilt while seated or in FPS mode. External view toggle. Enable or disable head tracking toggle for external ship camera movement. Step 7. Advanced adjustments. These settings offer finer control over your head tracking experience. General hold use device offset. When using the hold keybind to enable tracking, with this option enabled, the head tracking will start from your current head position versus recentering your head position. Disable after X seconds. This will automatically turn off head tracking if your Tobii disconnects, so your avatar isn't stuck in any awkward positions. Adjust the position input scale to determine how much of your movement translates into the in-game camera response. The higher this number, the less movements you'll need to make for an in-game response. Set dead zones for the X, Y, and Z axis to control where movement sensitivity begins to kick in. Position offset based on rotation. I don't personally have these turned on, but if this is turned on in conjunction with use position offset in Cockpits, your avatar will move in the direction your face is looking in-game when you move around. For example, if I look left and lean forward, my character will move towards the left side of the cockpit as opposed to straight forward. Step 8. Gaze-based features. Enable gaze-based target selection to lock onto targets by looking at them, then pressing an assigned key. This feature works independently of head tracking, so you can target with your eyes even if head tracking is off. For the keybind, it's recommended to unbind in-view forward and in-view under reticle from vehicles target cycling and bind a key to lock selected target instead. When gazing at a target, use this keybind to select the target. This feature allows you to lock targets and missiles with just your gaze, even using the rear view camera. Step 9. Balance your input mix and gaze responsiveness. For now, we're going to ignore the camera boost feature seen here and come back to it in a moment. These next settings allow you to set the input mix to balance head tracking and eye tracking to your liking. Setting this in the middle means head and eye tracking equally contribute to camera movement, while setting it to 1 represents only head tracking and setting it to 0 only eye tracking. Mix these up to find a sweet spot that works for you. Adjust gaze responsiveness to control how quickly the camera follows your eye movements. This will take some tweaking, so once again take some time to find a setting that uses a mixture of both head and eye tracking for a more natural feel. Step 10. Customize sensitivity and stabilization. Adjust the yaw, pitch and roll sensitivity to control how responsive your head movements are to your real-world movements. Increase the seated center stabilization to create a stable dead zone in the center of your view, where your real-world inputs have no effect on the movement of your in-game avatar. This setting is pretty important as you generally don't want any movement while your head is mostly centered, as it can quickly become distracting if these settings aren't comfortable. The bigger the number, the wider the area of dead zone where the sensitivity settings of your inputs aren't translated. Enable Auto Center to automatically adjust the camera when you change head positions, reducing the need to manually recenter every time. This is a Tobii specific setting separate to the auto recalibration setting that will slowly recenter your avatar's view while you hold a different head position. Step 11. Configure FPS mode and special features. Now, if you're an FPS gamer, there are duplicate settings below for the FPS mode. For bombing or manual gimbal aiming, set the manual gimbal to use look direction and bomb's desired impact point to look direction. This is how you'll be able to control your gimbals manually with your eye or head tracking and plant your desired impact point when using the Hercules A2 style lifter or A1 Spirit. Unfortunately, the controls for bombing in Star Citizen 323 are a little clunky, including the bomb targeting system, but Tobii's ability to select an impact point with your gaze worked well enough. For manual gimbal aiming, be sure to press G to switch to manual gimbal mode. In the short time I tested it, I could only get Tobii to use my head as reference for tracking and not the gaze function, which made manual gimbal aiming a little clunky. If you're really intent on using your head to aim your gimbals, you might need to do some strong tweaking in order to use it well. Step 12. Camera boost in Star Citizen 323. With the introduction of Star Citizen Patch 323, we also got a new setting, as well as general tracking improvements to Tobii Eye Tracker 5. This new setting is called Camera Boost, and it can be once again found under Comms, VoIP, and Head Tracking. Camera Boost uses your gaze to amplify your in-game head movements. The amplification of movement increases when your gaze gets closer to the edge of the screen, requiring less work from you. By adjusting the in-game Camera Boost value, you can set the maximum boost for head movement sensitivity. You can adjust the Camera Boost gaze dead zone to determine how far from the screen center before the boost kicks in. You can choose whether to enable Camera Boost as the input gaze method or keep the original input mix we set up earlier. Using what you've learned in this guide, you can configure these methods to your liking for precise control moving forward, and if I've done my job well, you should be well on your way to configuring your own Tobii Eye Tracker 5 to begin immersively kicking some ass in Star Citizen. If this guide helped, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to use my referral link if you are considering picking up your own Tobii Eye Tracker 5. It really helps out me and the channel, and you'll get a nice discount as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video was useful or helpful to you. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.